championship leader on the attack. Here we go with Max Verstappen. Wasn't even a contest. Max Verstappen wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
With 4 world championships under his belt, Max Verstappen has proven to be a dominant force in the sport. But now, things seem to be changing very quickly for both him and his team, Red Bull Racing. At a time when Red Bull should be enjoying their past success and building on it, there are now major concerns about the future. The car is not performing the way it should, and there's a lot of confusion inside the team. And is Max Verstappen planning to leave Red Bull? And if yes, where could he possibly go next? Well, in today's episode, we will look into everything that is happening behind the scenes at Red Bull, why Max's future with the team is not as secure as it once was. Red Bull has been in the spotlight a lot since the 2025 season began, but sadly, not for good reasons. The team made a big decision after just 2 races by swapping drivers. This sudden change created a lot of noise in the F1 world. It became the shortest Red Bull stint ever for a driver, and reports suggest that Max Verstappen was very upset with this move. He raised his concerns during a private meeting in Dubai, but the team went ahead with their decision anyway. They chose to put Yuki Tsunoda in the seat next to Max, which surprised many fans and experts alike. Now, it's not that Verstappen is scared of Yuki being faster than him. The real issue is that this change shows how the team is not focused enough on the car's development. Instead of fixing the car's problems, they're hoping that a different driver can somehow perform better in the same weak car. And that's not a smart strategy, especially if you want to stay at the top in such a competitive sport. Even Helmut Marko, one of Red Bull's senior advisors, admitted that Max is not happy. He also said that they need both cars to be fast, not just one, if they want to win the Constructors' Championship and help Max get his 5th title. Yuki Tsunoda has shown good pace so far. He hasn't made many mistakes and seems more confident this season. But the bigger picture is still troubling. Max is reportedly also worried about Yuki's future. After waiting so long for a chance, if the team continues to struggle, it could damage Yuki's career as well. It is clear that Red Bull is in a difficult position. They're losing focus, and the problems are starting to pile up. The RB20 was already difficult to manage last season, and things have not improved much with the RB21. The car is hard to drive and underperforms during races. In qualifying, it may look fast on paper, but during the actual race, it drops off badly. Red Bull engineers are struggling to get the balance right. This is a huge problem for a team that used to dominate every weekend not long ago. And then there's another big issue: staff. Red Bull has lost some key people recently. The most painful departure was Adrian Newey, the team's legendary car designer. Helmut Marko even said that the absence of Newey is being felt more and more every day. While the team has many skilled engineers and a staff of over 1,000 people, Newey brought something special that cannot be replaced easily. Without him, it looks like the technical side of the team is falling apart slowly. To make things worse, 2026 is right around the corner, and that year brings big rule changes to Formula One, and every team is preparing for it. Red Bull doesn't seem very confident about being ready for these changes. If they mess up the transition, they could fall even further behind. And if the new rules are delayed, as some rumors suggest, they'll be stuck with a car that is already underperforming. Either way, it's not looking great for them right now. With all of these problems building up, it is no surprise that people are talking about Verstappen leaving the team. Yes, he has publicly said that he's committed to Red Bull, but things in Formula One can change very quickly. Max is at the peak of his career. He doesn't want to waste time driving in a car that can't win. If Red Bull doesn't fix things fast, Max might decide that it's time for a new challenge. Now, there are 2 teams that stand out where he could go: Mercedes and Aston Martin. Both have been trying to rebuild and get back to the top. Mercedes has had a few rough seasons after their dominant run between 2014 and 2021, but they are slowly fighting their way back. They have the resources, the experience, and a winning history. Toto Wolff, the team principal of Mercedes, has always kept an eye on top drivers. While he's been diplomatic when asked about Max, everyone knows that if Max becomes available, Mercedes would make a serious move. Aston Martin is also an interesting option. With big investments and strong results in the past couple of seasons, they've become more competitive. They've signed experienced drivers and are building new facilities. They are clearly planning for the future. And if they can give Max a fast and reliable car, he might consider them as well. But between the two, Mercedes still looks like the stronger option, especially with Lewis Hamilton moving on to another team. There's also a personal side to this. Max's father, Jos Verstappen, has made it clear that his son won't stay in a team that's not winning. Jos has always been very involved in Max's career, and if he sees that Red Bull is going backwards, he might advise his son to leave. Max is a four-time world champion. He doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, but he surely wants to add more titles to his name. Now, Zak Brown recently stated that he believes Verstappen will leave Red Bull at the end of the current season. He suggested that Mercedes is the most likely destination, although Aston Martin has also been mentioned due to the possibility of Adrian Newey joining them. Brown highlighted that while Newey is an exceptional designer, building a winning team requires more than just one person. Mercedes, on the other hand, has a well-established team culture and a history of success, having won multiple championships over the past decade. In fact, between 2014 and 2021, Mercedes won 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships and secured 7 drivers' titles with Lewis Hamilton. Another key factor in Verstappen's potential move is his relationship with Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff. Wolff has always been a fan of Max's driving ability, and there have been discussions in the past about bringing him to Mercedes. With Hamilton now confirmed for Ferrari in 2025, Mercedes has a vacant seat alongside George Russell. And while they have been considering promoting their young driver Andrea Kimi Antonelli, signing Verstappen would be a massive statement of intent. One thing to consider is that Verstappen's father has a strong relationship with Wolff. This connection could play a role in negotiations, especially given the current tensions between Jos and Red Bull. The Verstappen family has always been very particular about ensuring that Max has the best possible opportunities, and if they believe Mercedes offers a better future than Red Bull, a switch could happen. The upcoming 2026 engine regulations will be a game changer in Formula One. The new power units will focus on sustainability and increased electrical output, and this could shift the balance of power amongst the teams. Mercedes has historically been one of the best engine manufacturers in the sport, and if they can maintain that advantage, Max might see them as the best long-term option. If Red Bull struggles with the transition to the new regulations, Max could be forced to look elsewhere to maintain his championship-winning potential. Toto Wolff has remained diplomatic when discussing his team's driver lineup, stating that Mercedes wants to retain Russell and Antonelli for the long term. However, he has also acknowledged that driver contracts are complex and that discussions are ongoing. If an opportunity arises to sign Verstappen, it is unlikely that Wolff would pass it up. Even in the recent Drive to Survive series, it was revealed that Verstappen was the first driver Wolff contacted after Hamilton announced his move to Ferrari. This shows that Mercedes is at least considering the possibility of signing him. The potential move to Mercedes would not just be about performance, but also about stability. Red Bull has been dealing with internal conflicts, including issues surrounding team principal Christian Horner. These controversies could make Red Bull a less attractive option for Verstappen if they continue to create distractions. Mercedes offers a stable and professional environment that could allow Verstappen to focus purely on racing. And by the way, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this next video even more, so you might as well check it out.